Okay, so while I make this viral cottage cheese cheesecake that's been floating all around the internet, that's higher in protein, lower in calories, and this one's actually gluten-free, I want to talk to you about fat loss and energy balance. All right, so if your goal is to lose fat because you want to feel more comfortable in your clothes, or you want to be lighter on the bike, or whatever your reasoning might be, it is important to be in a calorie deficit. Calorie deficit is a non-negotiable. However, what we eat actually affects how the body uses and stores energy. So it's not just about quantity, but it is also about quality. So certain foods actually spike insulin levels in the body. Now, insulin is a fat storing hormone, and it actually gets spiked throughout the day if we are consuming foods that's high in sugar, that are highly refined and processed and high GI, usually foods and carbohydrates that are low in fiber. Now, what happens is once this insulin is high all the time, the body actually can't tap into the fat stores to be able to use them. So we constantly have this battle between fighting, burning fat and storing fat because the insulin levels are actually high. All right, so it's really important to look at the quality and the quantity if your goal is fat loss. So we mixed some sweetener of your choice into this cottage cheese. I'm going to add tennis or coconut biscuits that are actually this brand, Simply Good. And we are also going to add some strawberries just for some extra fiber and taste. And then I'm going to pop this cheesecake into the fridge, leave it there for about a half an hour, and then I will check you once it has set. All right, moment of truth. I left it in the fridge for an hour, but I think it should be fine if you even leave it for half an hour. But okay, I did it for an hour. Let's have a look. That's what it looks like. It's actually quite tasty. Nice and gooey. Let's have a taste. So the cookies have really softened. So I think the longer you leave it, the softer it will become. It's really good. Definitely a nice treat. So the bottom line that I want to get to with this video is that fat loss is definitely about quantity, but also quality. So you need to be in a calorie deficit. It's a non-negotiable. But you also need to focus on the quality of the food. So making sure the foods that you are consuming will keep you fuller for longer, will manage your blood sugar levels and your energy levels throughout the day. So those would be foods like higher protein, higher in fiber, minimally processed, more your whole foods, lower GI types of carbohydrates, for example. If you want to give this recipe a go, I've left the recipe in the caption below, and I hope that you enjoy it. Before I leave you to go and make this viral cheesecake, if you are keen on doing that, I do definitely recommend it. It's quite tasty. I thought I'd just dive a little bit deeper into the whole thing that I just spoke about in terms of quantity and quality being important when it comes to fat loss. So just to reiterate that insulin isn't bad. Insulin is really important. Without insulin, we cannot live. We need insulin. Insulin is super important for all of the functions in the body, especially to take glucose into the blood cells. But like I mentioned, insulin is a fat storing hormone. So the more insulin that is released, and if there's insulin being released consistently throughout the day, the body never really gets a chance to tap into the fat stores, as I've mentioned already. So the bottom line is that when you are planning your meals, and that's also how we've done it with Nutrition Doctor, is to make sure that the meals are well balanced, that they're not going to cause those blood sugar spikes, and that they're just going to keep you fuller for longer so that you don't necessarily need to be snacking throughout the whole day. So you can stick to 3 meals a day, and where you need to, you can incorporate some snacks if you maybe are having a higher training load, or you just might feel like you need a little bit more substance in your diet. That's completely fine. But trying to just give your body some time to really just manage its insulin levels is really important, and making sure that you are exercising optimally with that, doing your body 20 sessions, but still trying to be active on the other days that you're not doing body 20, because we know that exercise is actually really important and effective in lowering the insulin levels and making the insulin sensitivity a lot better, making sure that the blood glucose levels are maintained more effectively, and that fat storage and usage and so forth is actually being used optimally in the body. Because at the end of the day, fat loss and body composition is not just about how we look and how we feel in our clothes, but it actually comes down to our health as well. We know that having excess fat in the body actually increases your risk for multiple issues, like for example, heart disease, diabetes, cholesterol, and the works. So it is super important to make sure that you are managing your fat amount in your body, which basically translates into your body composition. And that's why the InBody is so effective in showing, are you losing fat and not just weight. So it's not very effective to look at just a number on the scale, but it's really important to look at the body composition, look at the amount of fat in kilograms and the percentage, and really work towards that. So energy balance, just as a final point, remember, energy balance looks at how much energy is going in the form of food versus energy that's being burnt through our metabolism, as well as our daily movements and our exercise. So we can definitely make sure that we are optimizing our metabolism by having a good amount of muscle mass in the body, because the more muscle and the more lean mass in the body, the higher the metabolism will be, which will of course help with that energy balance. But then, of course, also making sure that we are active throughout the day. If you have a job where you are sitting in front of a computer quite like majority of the time, make sure to get up, take a walk around, and then do little simple things throughout the day. If you can, to try and just be active where possible. Park a little bit further so that you can get in a few more steps, take the stairs instead of the escalator or the lift. Those little things really do make a difference, and just go take a walk around the block if you get home after work, just to get some fresh air and to get some steps in. Those all really, even though it might feel like really small things and it's not gonna get you out of breath or whatever, it is definitely going to make a difference with that energy balance. And then focusing on the quality of the food, like I've mentioned, higher protein, higher fiber, minimally processed, and lower in GI carbohydrates. I hope this has been helpful. Let us know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.